It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
And it's that time for another cup of coffee with Uncle Chris and Wild Will right here at Slumberland at the lake. And last week's show, Chris, was the halfway point for the year and probably our most talked about and popular show yet.
Yeah, I tell you, we got a whole lot of feedback on last week's show, didn't we?
We sure did. We'll address that a little bit today, follow up on that with some sources as well as some commentary. Also, some big-time events, not just this weekend, but early into the middle part of next week around the lake. And, of course, we'll also recap the situation that went down at the city of Lake Ozark with the Board of Aldermen.
You were there.
Meeting. I was there, got rather tense, got rather heated, and the community definitely showed up and spoke out.
Somebody tried to throw a punch, right, at you?
Not yet. I'm sure that's coming, but no, not yet. Also, got to talk about what's going on right here at Slumberland between now and the 21st. It's the annual anniversary sale, and this is really cool. They're doing things based on how much you spend, 3 different tiers. You're giving away trips, like vacations, as far as lodging. So you can spend enough to get 2 nights, you can spend enough to get 3 nights, you could even spend enough to get 4 nights, and once your furniture is delivered, you then get vouchers, and these are good for over 400 locations.
Well, you should have like a month's worth then, because you like furnish the whole house here, right?
Everything I've got, including my toothbrush, came from Slumberland at the lake, and so you'll be able to come in, and if you already need a living room set, a new bed, anything you need as far as furniture, and maybe you're looking at going on vacation, might as well come check out the anniversary sale. They got lots going on. And speaking of Slumberland, as much as I could tell you and talk about all the amazing things, you know who might know a little better than me?
Daryl.
That's my man Daryl. Over to him.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. A couple weeks ago, we did a tease with our new Sleep Solutions gallery. Well, I'm standing in front of phase 2, our sheet wall. Sleep has a lot to do with mattresses, but there are a ton of other elements that go into a great night's sleep, and we've got them here at Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Come check it out, Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
Man, Chris, I think that Daryl needs a cape with a big old S on it for Slumberman Superman. That guy is...
Yeah, maybe you can give him your cape.
Yeah, you talking about my shirt that I made out of this boat cover? You're out of control. I obviously don't have a cape, but after last week, I think I have even less based on some of the feedback we got. First situation we wanted to cover, Lake Ozark. Yeah. Mayor and alderman, they tangled over the posting of the city administrator position. So we're just going to recap that situation that led into Tuesday night's capacity crowd at the city of Lake Ozark. So here's how we got here. First, current Lake Ozark City Administrator Dave Bandy, he is retiring in October, and he's been at City of Lake Ozark 12 years. He served 37 years in public service prior to coming to the lake. Him and his wife were from Iowa, where he served in different capacities. And so with his resignation, his retirement, the City of Lake Ozark looking for a city administrator. Well, last year they knew this was coming, and so they hired a headhunting firm, spent $22,000, and they came to the young, the impressive, the diplomatic Harrison Fry. He's done a pretty good job in his first year, but about a year of government experience. But here's where the story takes place. Harrison Fry, as I said, he was hired as the assistant city administrator. He's also the director of economic development for the city of Lake Ozark, and the Board of Aldermen unanimously feel like he should be catapulted into the position of city administrator. But Mayor Newberry, the recently elected mayor, just about 3 months into his tenure, I guess I should say, as his candidacy as Lake Ozark mayor, he says we should open that position up. He said we should look for the best possible person for that job, and if that ends up being Harrison at the end of it, great, we can all decide that together. But the city of Lake Ozark, I think they're a little embarrassed. They spent $22,000, and they feel like if Harrison doesn't get that job, then they are going to have wasted those funds, and they are adamantly against that job getting posted. They say, let's not waste the time, let's not waste the money. Well, I don't know why they'd be worried about wasting the time, because this is a $90,000 position and really the most influential and important decision maker in the whole city, more than the mayor, more than the president of the Board of Aldermen, our city administrator. And so for $90,000, you could probably attract a lot of people, and everybody was in unison as far as the board minus the mayor and a couple people that came around, which we'll get to. But you heard a lot of people in the community speak, including people that gave Harrison a overwhelming endorsement and said he deserves a chance. And I don't disagree, but I don't believe it's legal or there was a guarantee to Harrison when he was hired about a year ago that when Van D retires, he's automatically going to get the position. There was business owners, there was people adamantly against it. There was even government people that have had time in government positions say, hey, we all like Harrison, but this is the right thing to do. It's really interesting that there was so much fight back. It would lead you to believe there could be something bigger going on here. But have you ever heard of a position like that where you just want to catapult somebody in with that lack of experience? Or what do you think's going on at the city of Lake Ozark, and why do you think so many people showed up Tuesday to voice their concerns?
Yeah, standing room only, raucous crowd. I mean, and actually that's a good thing to see, people getting involved in government. So that's the positive side of this. You know, my take on this is there's a whole lot of political change going on in every direction in every part of the country right now. And everybody knows we're so polarized, and this is just a small microcosm of that, I think. So you have the new mayor that comes in, you know, a few months ago. We know about the old mayor. He had a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And, you know, in his system, they had set up, I think, for Van D to leave and for Harrison Fry to take over. So the new mayor comes in, and, you know, if you're the new mayor and you're trying to come in, change things and go a new direction, you're not just going to go with the flow.
Right.
You know, if things have been set up to go a certain way, you're going to look at that and go, hey, you know, is this really the way we need to go, or do we need to take another look at that? And I think that's what the new mayor is doing. He's saying, I'm not saying we're not going to give Harrison Fry the job. I'm just saying, let's take a second here and make sure he is the best guy for the job. It's not really, when I looked at that council meeting, I think it was going to cost maybe $600 to post this and get resumes and look at. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket. You know, I'm sure the mayor would probably pay for that himself if he had to. So money's not the issue. Time's not the issue. We got time. So what's the problem? The problem is that he's upsetting the apple cart to the way things were going, and some people don't like it, right? So it's tough, and we talked about it last week. It's kind of sad, you know, this kind of garbage is why people don't want to get involved, because it eats at you, man. I mean, I'm telling you, if you're the mayor, if you're on the school board or whatever, and you get attacked like this, like the mayor has been, then it hurts. It eats at you, and you go home at night and you go, man, why did I get involved in this, right? And that's sad because it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and it really takes away from what Mayor Newberry's trying to do to have to deal with this. That's just pretty common practice. Put it up. We'll see who the guy is. Just know their job search. We'll be happy with who we end up landing. But some of the behavior through the process is what I've been a little surprised by. First, the temper tantrum by one of our aldermen in a meeting where he slammed the table, storms out, and even threatens Mayor Newberry to say, anyone you appoint will never get elected. No one will ever approve any of your appointments, which to me, that's a direct conflict of interest. And it also says, if you're going to threaten your position or throw that weight around and say, we're not going to vote in your favor because you won't do what we want, well, that's an abuse of power, and that's really childish. Not only that, you've also had an elected alderman, another conflict of interest, using his radio station and digital news platform to not just run hit pieces, but saturate leading up to a board meeting adamantly against the current mayor. And the community was adamantly in favor of mayor's decision at the board meeting. It got fairly heated, and jobs are actually going to get posted. They're just working on the details. I did talk with Mayor Newberry today, and he said those are going up. They're working on some verbiage because he wanted an attractive title to attract some candidates to that, and the people in charge of that within the city sent it back, and it was really lackluster.
Well, and I saw that he also announced that a committee will be formed to appoint the new city administrator, which will include the mayor and at least 2 citizens and at least 2 business owners and an HR professional. And he invited the main alderman that's going against him on this, I think it's Dennis Klotzer, invited him to be on the board. So doesn't look like he's trying to ramrod anything or do anything under the table. It looks like it's all above table, and let's just do this right. So don't know why you wouldn't want to do it right.
Well, I think the aldermen kind of got caught with their pants down around their ankles, because he offered him every solution that would help them win. So what you said, you hit the nail on the head. He doesn't have somebody who wants to strong arm in there. He wants to accept resumes and open those in a closed meeting with himself and this committee.
Yeah.
And he said, the first person I want to invite is someone who's adamantly opposed to my viewpoints, and that would be Dennis Klotzer. He did that in front of the rest of the city council. He did that with the community, with that capacity crowd, putting Dennis on the spot to say, okay, well, if you really think that you know best and you don't want me to strong arm, I'm inviting you to be part of this process, because it's ultimately going to be the mayor that appoints. He's not even going to vote. It's then going to be on the aldermen to vote, and of the 7 aldermen, 4 would have to vote yes for that person to be appointed. So pretty fair, in my opinion, and starting to see a little bit of that, like you said, the apple cart and a little bit of that good old boys club getting exposed at Lake Ozark, but I don't think that's going to fly on Mayor Newberry's watch. And like I said, the sad thing is it's really distracting and taking away from some of the important things that they're working on at the city of Lake Ozark.
And you were at the meeting, and didn't Newberry say you should run for mayor in a couple of years or something like that?
Yeah, and see, I know that I would be doing this community a disservice if I ran for office. I'm young. I'm not as educated, definitely not informed in government, local government, and all of those things. So that would be bad, but nice sentiment from the mayor nonetheless. So that story we thought was going to be a popular one.
Yeah.
And got our week off started great. And then, of course, the second headline is posted separately that Lake Regional responds to critics. And I want to start here, Chris. I think it's only fair that I offer that everything we say on this show are the views of Chris and myself, whether it's commentary, opinions, facts, and research we've done. They do not in any way, shape, or form reflect the views or opinions of any of our sponsors, our advertisers, our guests, or even our host location. I want to make that very clear because we don't want to get anybody in trouble and we don't want to alienate.
These are just our thoughts. I mean, our research, our thoughts, our stories, they may be right, they may be wrong, but we're talking about them, we're throwing them out there. And
you can call us the junior CDC.
You know, according to a whole bunch of our critics, we're idiots, we're yahoos, we don't know S from S.
And we're going to talk about that. So we have to kind of unpackage all of this. First, I want to recap our story and why that went out there. So, Chris, of course, Lake Regional had 22 dead in 23 days, and after that, there was an outcry from the community. Well, Lake Regional went ahead and put that letter out saying we're doing everything we can do, and they really put the attention on their doctors, their nurses, on their staff dealing directly with the community. And what we said was, I don't think that's ever the question. When they told the community they're doing their best, there's nothing we can do except for offer comfort. I want to reiterate, the doctors and nurses are great, but no one was questioning that. I think everyone was questioning opportunities to try something else. If you were brought to that point between watching your loved one die or trying a experimental drug. So that's what we did in last week's story. Now, we're going to respond to some of that criticism.
Yeah, and just to be clear, they said in their letter, Lake Regional Hospital, that the leaders at the top, not the doctors and nurses, who are for the most part all great people, the question is the hospital being directed in the right way? So they say in the letter, sometimes all we can do is provide comfort measures, right? And that may be difficult for families to accept. So that's basically saying comfort measures as you die. So why would you not do everything you can possibly do if you're just going to let people die to try and help them, right? That's our main point.
That was the point, and it brought on a lot of criticism from people saying, like you said, you yahoos, you idiots, you're no doctor, pronounce your words right, quit confusing and misleading the people, and trust the FDA. So the first point, Chris, because there are times that you and I say stuff that may be kind of stupid and may not have a lot of merit or may not be backed with sources and facts. However, the first one was the COVID misdiagnosis that people outcried when you said, you used a great analogy about you go into a hospital with a gunshot wound to your head and you end up dying of COVID. People demanded that, we want proof. You guys are idiots. I mean, that's the stupidest example I've ever heard. Well, the cool thing is we don't have just one, but two pretty good examples, Chris,
Yeah.
so I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so we were talking about it, last Friday. We're like, yeah, can you believe that? So you did a search, 10 seconds later, these two stories come up. 10 seconds, literally. Okay, so West Palm Beach, CBS 12, News Team 1 does an investigation. They say, we learned there were some questionable information in Palm Beach County Medical Examiner COVID death records, requested the public records ourselves, and found 8 deaths incorrectly labeled as COVID deaths, including a gunshot wound to the head.
Well, there's one,
There's
my
one.
friends.
Okay, so here's the whole state of Washington, right? State of Washington. State Department of Health, that's the DOH there, they confirm that Freedom Foundation reported the state is counting in its COVID-19 death total the deaths of persons who tested positive for the virus but died from other causes. They admit this, right? DOH officials even acknowledge knowingly including multiple deaths caused by gunshot wounds in the state's COVID-19 fatality count. 82%. Lists some variation of COVID-19 in one of the causes of death on the death certificate. 82%. Wow. At a press conference, the governor called the people who were bringing all this information out, called them dangerous, disgusting, and called it malarkey. But DOH officials largely confirmed the findings that he was calling malarkey. So, it's true. The reason why we said that last week was because we'd seen the stories.
And when you say something that sounds that outlandish, you might think that we're incorrect. And that's exactly where we've gotten in 2021. The other one was when we were wrapping up and we were talking about hydroxychloroquine, you had mentioned that that's what President Trump took. Mm-hmm. And many people were quick to jump on and show you the 8 list of treatments that Trump used to treat COVID, which wasn't even exactly what you said. You just had said that he had took it. I agreed with you. Well, Trump did take hydroxychloroquine, and as much as we want to tell you about it, who better to tell you than, well, President Trump. Enjoy.
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine. Right now, yeah. I happen to believe in it. I would take it. As you know, I took it for a 14-day period. I think it gives you an additional level of safety. But you can ask, many doctors are in favor of it. Many frontline workers won't go there unless they have the hydroxy. I want them to try it, and it may work and it may not work. But if it doesn't work, it's nothing lost by doing it, nothing.
So there you have it. President Trump himself not only endorsed, but he took it, was under, he was taking it, and, he did get COVID, but he's all right now. Yeah. And so
the question is back to Lake Regional saying sometimes all we can do is provide comfort measures, but they also say they will not, use ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. Why not? If you're just going to let people die and comfort them, why not try everything you can to help them out?
So, and there could be the possibility that first it's not FDA approved, so maybe there's a fine involved. However, I know, and I'm going to get into my last part here, where I talk in depth about ivermectin in particular, that there's places that are using it, they won't let them use it, and they might also say that it's not as effective as some of these clinical trials. So I first want everyone to know that it's 2021. We are allowed to have our opinion. We're not here trying to misinform. We're not here trying to divide. We're asking questions that I, my family, my friends, and my community have, and I'm not going to apologize, and I'm going to continue to ask questions, but I can also do my own research, Chris. Mm-hmm. So first, 5 medical professionals I talked to down here in this area since last week's show. Of the 5, none of the 5 are personally vaccinated. So I found that interesting. All 5 did not want to be mentioned, and all 5 do fear losing their jobs, and also all 5 do fear retaliation. But you see that as an overwhelming trend in some areas where your medical providers, from nurses, doctors, and the people that are hands-on with this, are choosing not to get vaccinated.
And the doctor I talked to last week that I mentioned has not been vaccinated either.
Correct. Okay, so ivermectin, what is it? This is straight from the Wall Street Journal article that I looked at. So first, it was founded in 1970 as Ivermectin by William Campbell and Satoshi Amora of Merck & Co. In 1996, Chris, the FDA certified it. In 2015...
This is one of the banned drugs.
Just for COVID of treatment.
Just for COVID.
Because you're gonna be shocked when you hear just how much good is behind ivermectin.
Okay.
In 2015, Campbell and O'Mara won the Nobel Peace Prize in sociology or medicine with ivermectin. They then modified that and turned it into ivermectin. Ivermectin is currently on that World Health Association list of essential medicines. Merck, the founding company, donated 4 billion doses to prevent river blindness and other diseases in Africa where parasites are common. There's 10 doctors who make up the board, self-proclaimed now, Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, stated that ivermectin is one of the safest, most low-cost, and widely available drugs in the history of medicine. It's been proven to fight 21 different viruses, the leading SARS-CoV-2, which is the direct cause of COVID-19. A single dose in these trials reduced the viral load in SARS-CoV-2 in cells 99.8% in 24 hours and 99.98% within 48 hours. There's been 70 clinical trials, and there's statistical significant evidence that are suggesting that not only is it safe, but it works very effectively for treating and preventing this disease. Back to doctors, Chris. You're from, you have some familiarity with the Omaha area, correct?
Yep.
How about a guy by the name of Franek? And a lot of you guys said for your sources you need to use, the FDA, the CDC expert, somebody that studied this, maybe a specialist in infectious diseases. So I found the right guy. Harvard Medical School grad who has specialized in infectious diseases for the last 40 years. Currently, right now in Omaha, Dr. Franek is administering and highly recommends ivermectin for COVID-19. He uses it with other agents, so not by itself, but like with any treatment, you obviously have other agents, other treatments that you supplement with that. And here's the results that he's gotten that are overwhelming. Over 200 treated. Of those 200 that he's treated with ivermectin, he has had 0 deaths. He has had 0 ventilations, and only one of those has had to go to the hospital. And they made a full recovery from that. To hammer it home just a little more with some facts and research and proof, let's look at the situation happening in India right now, Chris.
India, okay.
Okay, so in India, the New York Times comes out with a post that says, after a crazy surge the early part of this year, India is seeing unprecedented decline in COVID cases. And so ivermectin has been administered and readily available in India as a COVID treatment. And certain countries in India did not choose to allow administering it. Some did. And I'm going to put on screen right now for you this chart so you can see the top are the ones that did. In Delhi, 97% decline from 395 cases to 956 new cases. How about Goa? It's down 85% since they've been administering ivermectin. 4,195 cases down to 645. And if you look on the flip side, the one below in that lower chart, you see that in Tamil Nadu, there's 173%, Odisha's up 50%, Assam's up 240%, and any of those countries that did not choose ivermectin as a treatment, they spiked. So I'm going to leave it at that as far as facts, because I'm still not saying that I know 100% whether or not this works. I am saying I would like the choice. So after my research, I do have these questions I've landed at. Do hospitals run by boards and CEOs have our best interest, have your best interest in mind? Because I can promise you right now, Chris, CEOs are not hired to save lives and to offer a better healthcare.
No, they're usually hired to help them make money, right?
Make us more profitable
right.
At the end of the day. Who do you think is telling doctors and nurses what to do? What questions to ask sick people? What to describe these people? Why are doctors no longer asking questions like, what is your stress level? How are you sleeping? What is your diet? What kind of vitamins are you taking? Are you exercising? They're not asking those questions. And there's a reason, because they're not in control. It's the insurance companies and it's the pharmaceutical industry that is running the medical field, and it is all for profit. It's not about your health. The CDC has been wrong time and time again. So when everyone says, Chris, trust the science, trust the CDC, listen to the doctors, listen to Dr. Fauci, I don't feel incredibly safe and trusting. I mean, why aren't all nurses and doctors promoting and taking the vaccination? Wouldn't they not only have the most informed and prepared to make such a decision, but wouldn't they have the most risk directly hands-on with these individuals? I'd also like to know what happened to influenza in 2020 and 2021. Has anyone gotten that? I want to know why you're telling people to choose death over having something that, based on the science I see, seems like it could work. This was founded in 1970. The FDA approved it in 1996. It won a Nobel Peace Prize for its work in 2015. That has a body of work with some merit there. These vaccinations were not founded in 1970, did not get approved by the FDA in 1996, and did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. So I have a bigger problem with that than I do with trying this when it comes to your right to try. Oh, and as a matter of fact, Governor Jay Nixon, in July 14th of 2014, signed into motion the bill that is the Missouri people's right to try in a situation like that. So after everything I've learned and everything, the hospital is simply saying no, and that's where my problem lies. I mean, is there a fine for administering a non-FDA approved drug? Because if there is, then every single healthcare provider and doctor and institution would currently be in direct violation. And I'm gonna end with this. I won't listen to the government. I will not trust the CDC. I do not know without a shadow of a doubt the hospital has my best interest in mind, and I'm not gonna accept what they tell me and what gets censored through Google and Facebook. I will continue to be vigilant though, because this is important. This is people's lives we're talking about. And so if there's an option out there that could help them, but it's super low cost opposed to other treatments and other options where there could be more money, I have an issue with that. And I'm going to continue to do these things unapologetically because, Chris, it's an incredible day that we currently live in. And for everyone out there, I pray for you, I pray for your family, that you guys stay healthy, you stay safe, and you stay blessed. And I continue to lift up our doctors and our nurses. And I'm telling you that they were never the issue. They were never the ones in question. And we'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
On to
big stuff, man.
On to our next headline. We don't have a lot of time left. Shootout got kicked off this weekend. Annual golf tournament, man. Shootout is here. Go to lakeoftheozarks.shootout.com. Find out how you can get your boat registered, get signed up to have a vendor booth down at the street party, whatever it would be. There's a week long full of events and then some starting very, very soon. And then also, I don't know if you saw, of course, Fat Polly's got torn down.
Yeah.
So they are rebuilding. It's going to be the Encore Lakeside Grill and Sky Bar. It's a $3.5 million project right in the city of Lake Ozark. Beautiful. Absolutely love that. And it's supposed to open in fall of 2021.
That's pretty exciting.
So
that's going to be greatness.
That is going to be really, really neat. Of course, there's a few upcoming events this weekend. The Bagnell Dam Duck Drop is Saturday. Mm-hmm. ZZ Tops at the Amphitheater Friday, Shinedown next Wednesday, Kane Brown next Thursday. Of course, next Tuesday's the Best Damn Birthday Bash fireworks display.
Yeah.
So at dawn, you go to bestdamnbirthdaybash.com, find out about those 6 locations and where you would want to view that from. And then, of course, lots of stuff happening on Lake TV. We only got about 30 seconds, so make it quick.
So we're focused on the shootout on the Community Spotlight show this week. It's Paul Hooper is the Lake West Chamber Executive Director, so he'll talk about all they're doing to get ready for shootout and how you might be able to help because they're looking for volunteers. Next week, we'll talk with a couple of beneficiaries of the shootout. All the shootout money goes to local charities.
Right.
So we'll talk with some of those charities, how they spend the money and stuff like that. So that's greatness. We've got your classic high school football game of the week, Tuesday nights, Friday nights at 8:30, and our first game of the new football season is coming fast. It's just a couple weeks away.
That's right, 27th of August. It's Knob Noster and Versailles.
Yep.
We'll get kicked off with the COMC pregame show at 6:30. Football coaches show the week prior
That's
to that.
right.
You got that coming like hot fire. And don't forget What's Burning with Kevin KB Burns this week. Well, that's a wrap. Until next week, my friends. Big shout out to Jill Ray and her incredible crew right here at Slumberland. Come take advantage of the anniversary sale. Of course, for Andrew, for Ricky, for Megan, for this good looking guy, that's Uncle Chris. As for me, I'm Wild Will, and I will see you guys next week.